Keep the conversation going on social media, and we'll be at the back end to respond to your comment. But we're joined now by an expert who will hopefully, answer most of the questions that we have received so far on social media. We've been joined now virtually by an agribusiness expert in the person of Dr. Ajisefinni Ayodeji. Thank you, Doctor, for coming on the program today. Okay, let us go on a short break, and when we return, our guests will definitely be with us, so do stay. And you're still watching Business Daily, coming to you live on Trust TV. And in the past 1 year, ginger farmers in areas such as Plateau, Nasarawa, Benue, and Kaduna State, as well as the Federal Capital Territory, have been affected by the ginger blight outbreak, which is a fungi pathogens infection, which has destroyed, about 95% of the year's yield. And just recently, the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Aliyu Abdullahi, said that Nigerian ginger farmers incurred losses amounting to 12 billion naira due to the outbreak of the ginger blight disease. But I'm joined now by my guest, who is an agribusiness expert in the person of Dr. Ajisefinni Ayodeji. Thank you, Doctor, for being a guest today on Business Daily.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone.
Good morning to you too, Doctor. I would just like for us to begin by answering one question that came up repeatedly while we went through the social media comment. And that question was, what is the cause of the ginger blight outbreak? Can you give us an understanding, especially in layman terms, regarding what this fungi infection really is about, and what causes that infection on ginger crops across the world?
Thank you very much. It's just like having a bird flu as a disease in the poultry sector. Something of such is what ginger blast is. It's a fungi that operates in the soil and in the air, which we can only minimize through biosecurity of our businesses, of our farms. Running a biosecurity, good biosecurity, we minimize it. But it's a fungi disease that moves around the farm.
The Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security has come out to, give record as to how much farmers have lost in the past 1 year. According to him, he did say that farmers had incurred losses amounting to about 12 billion naira in the past 1 year. And whilst going through the social media comment, we, had farmers actually, share with us their experience so far. Quite unfortunate losses, especially from farmers in the states that I did mention. But when you hear amounts like that, 12 billion naira, what crosses your mind?
It's a great shortage, setback to the farmers, setback to the Nigerian economy, because ginger is one of our non-oil export products, which is earning us so many dollars. But for 2 billion naira loss shortage within 1 year, it's a great setback to agribusiness sector of the country.
It's indeed a great setback. According to the minister, over 2,500 hectares of farmland were infected by this outbreak. But I'll move away from that now to, hear from you, as someone who is a major player in the agricultural sector. If you could, manage or give an idea as to how this impacted farmers in your interaction with ginger farmers, what are their experiences? What are the stories that they share with you regarding the ginger blight outbreak?
Well, if I could tell you, I once upon a time in Kwara State also. I personally planted it about 4 years ago, and I had this bitter experience of ginger blast. And how do you know that this exists? The root, that is, the ginger you planted, we've got roasted. When you uproot it, it turns brownish and it's roasted. This experience, this setback makes one, if one is not committed to the business, make one to lose interest in that business because it costs a lot of money to get this done. Having over 250,000 pieces planted on 1 hectare of land, you know what it goes into that. Is it the cost of land preparation we want to talk of? Cost of herbicide and pesticide? Cost of land, the seed itself, or preparation of the seed itself? All these things is a great setback, and the impact of it is the non-oil sector of Nigeria will drop with some percentage of these products. And we all know ginger has become a daily consuming product. Is it for the powder type, for the drink, or for the pharmaceutical companies that are using it? If the shortage is there, they will be forced to go and import ginger. And Nigeria being a country, one of the major producing countries of ginger, this is not good for us. And we thank God for the prompt response of the federal government to the aid of the farmers that are involved in this. Because ginger is being planted mostly in the northwest and northeast of the country. We need to look into it the way we are looking into other food crops of Nigeria, in Nigeria. Thank you.
Well said. You also did mention, the prompt response of the government. We are aware that there was the inauguration of the Ginger Blight Epidemic Control Task Force, which has, compensated some of these farmers who, were impacted by the outbreak. But I'd just like to point out that only farmers that had some sort of agricultural insurance were able to receive compensation. So I would like for us to speak, regarding the role of agricultural insurance. Not so much is being said in that regard, and not so much information is out there, especially amongst farmers. But let's hear from you now. What are your thoughts on, having just farmers that had some sort of agri insurance that were able to receive, compensation for the losses?
Thank you once again. I would like to appreciate the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security for their prompt response. And that's to tell you that when you put the right peg in the right hole, they know how it failed. Having both the Minister and the Minister of State being a farmer, they know what it costs to be a good farmer. And insurance, as we all know, is a thing that is not commonly adopted in Nigeria, and a case study of agri sector. It is only when a farmer is asking for loans from federal government, from any commercial bank, that he realizes that he needs to do insurance. Insurance is very, very important in our field. As a farmer, our product, our business is a risk that we need to mitigate against. Mitigating it means we need to shift the responsibility, the liability of the business for unforeseen expenses or unforeseen occurrence to another organization which has been set up. And the amount we have to pay is just maybe 2.5% of the cost of the economic of production cost, which I believe is not too much for us to pay. But because the understanding of insurance among we farmers is so low, very, very low, because we look at it, if nothing happens, if nothing negative happens to my farm, that money has gone. That shouldn't be the meaning. And it applies not only to agricultural sector, to enterprise generally. When we talk about agribusiness, you can see, as I used to say, agribusiness is the way to go, not agriculture. There's no how you'll be practicing agribusiness that you will not think of having insurance in place. Because this money you want to invest, it may be a loan. And mandatorily, the bank will request for a cover in case of eventuality. And that's why some of those farmers that are benefiting from it, I don't know, I'm not sure of it, maybe some of them took loan and they are forced to do the insurance. But we are not meant to be forced to do insurance on our farm because of the nature of our business. The risk involved is very high. And this is one of the reasons why financial institutions are running away from financing agricultural projects. And I say congratulations to those that have done it. And I'm not accusing or blaming those that have not done it. It is level of their understanding. And that is where the level of agri insurance advocacy needs to be improved and implemented and made compulsory to every sector in agri. You need to have insurance policy covered. Thank you.
You have spoken to the low levels of awareness and knowledge and adoption of agricultural insurance. And this is despite the enormous benefits, that surrounds, agricultural insurance. Unfortunately, many farmers, like you rightly stated, remain uninsured. But I would like for us to speak regarding the barriers, that are preventing the widespread of agricultural insurance amongst farmers. And in your opinion, how would you say we as a country can overcome these barriers?
Number one thing, as an entity, as a country, we need to increase the advocacy of insurance benefit. Why you need to insure your business, why you need to insure your investment. We need to make our people to understand it. And understanding it means we go to the various communities, the insurance organizations, especially the one under the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, needs to organize a department that will do community development in various languages, not on the TV, because it's not all farmers that have TV in their houses. It's not all farmers that listen to news. Let's domesticate it, train the trainers, organize seminars, why you need to insure your farm. This seminar should not be in Turanci. We should use our local language, the language they will understand, the implication of it, financial benefit of it, financial implication of it. By the time we start making it known to them, I want to believe no farmer will want to try and do something without looking at if it fails, where will life fall back on? Look at those people that are not benefiting from it now. Where are they starting? That may be the end of their business as a farmer. But for those that have benefited, they will go back to farm and start their business. This is one of the advantage. And we are appealing to government not to make it a federal policy that will stay in the federal level. Let's see how we can bring it to the lower level. Form a committee, just the way they have formed a committee to look into the blast disease, how to control it and curtail it. Let's form a committee on the importance of insurance in agribusiness. It is very, very, very important. I am a victim of it and I benefited from it. Therefore, I always encourage people, go and insure your farm, no matter what. If you are doing only 1 acre, do it. If it is just one plot, do it. Because you cannot predict what will happen. What we are doing is nature, and anything can happen at any time. And for your investment to be secured as an agribusiness practitioner, you need to cover it. Add it to the cost of your production. It will have serious impact on it in your cost, your selling price, but it will give you peace of mind to sleep at home. If anything happens, you know there is somebody that will cover it and you go back to farm. And when we are discussing this, the insurance organization needs to give detailed information to the farmers. Why some of the farmers are complaining of not going in for insurance? One, when claim comes up, that is when some insurance company will start bringing out some flimsy excuses. You did not do this, you did not do that, you did not disclose this, in a way that at the end of the day, they won't pay the farmer. We need to break down the procedure. Before you can insure your farm, for example, they will request you, what security do you have on that farm? What source of water are you using? What is the quality of the seed you want? Because they themselves need to protect their own dignity. You are paying 2% or 1.5% on total cost of your investment that worth millions. And even eventuality come, they will pay back both the cost of all your inputs. You know, these are costs to the insurance organization. They too will need to secure their own risk by asking farmers to give them details of what they want. And we farmers, we need to be sincere with ourselves. We need to be sincere with ourselves. Gone are the days some farmers will harvest their farm and put fire on the farm, saying that they had fire incident on the farm. Let's be sincere. Sincerity of purpose matters in this type of a thing. We are now in a jet age. We are now in the era of agribusiness, whereby it involves every aspect of livelihood. Therefore, insurance policy should be a mandatory thing on all farmers that are going to farm.
Well explained, Dr. Ajisefinni Ayodeji. You have also, spoken to the prompt response from the Ministry of Agriculture regarding, the inauguration of the ginger blight epidemic control task force. I would like for us to speak regarding that now. This initiative, what are your expectations regarding how this will impact, the resilience of farmers to, rise above infectious diseases and fungus infections like, the ginger blight infection, and even changes around, climate change and the impact of climate change on farming? What are your expectations regarding that?
Well, we expect, looking at the list of the committee member of the blast disease control committee, I discovered they have people of good reputation and knowledge. This number one thing is, how can we minimize it? Because every fungal disease is a viral disease that maybe it is being imported from a company through the original seed that were imported, or through here. How can the farmers make use? What biosecurity can farmers adopt? Two, whatever recommendation that comes out of this committee's memorandum, it is expected not to be at the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, but it has to be publicized and domesticated. The recommendation to be domesticated and implemented to all farmers. Thank God there is an association for ginger pro farmers. And I believe this is their time, this is a call to service for them to be fully involved in this committee recommendation and do what we call capacity building. Gone are the days we do our things in the olden days way. How can we do it better in the modern agribusiness practice way? For example, how many thousands of seed are you expected to plant? At what spacing level? These are things that can cause this easy transfer of the fungi blast disease. It is expected that for you to plant is 20 centimeter by 20 centimeter. Are we adhered to it? You are expected to have almost 100,000 seeds on 1 acre of your farmland. Are you adhered to it? When you are applying your pesticide, are you applying to the leaf or to the tube? To the root? All these things are what we want the standard operational procedure of ginger farming management we expect from the committee to please come out with for us. Thank you.
Okay, you have spoken to, some farmers acting based on their understanding. And as when we talked about, agricultural insurance, you talked about low levels of knowledge regarding insurance. And the question now that comes to mind is, for the uninsured farmers, I believe some sort of support should be given to them, because whilst we went through the social media comments, we did get, responses from some farmers, regarding the amount of monies that they had lost in the past 1 year. So what sort of support should be given to these ones, at least until the capacity is built, at least until the understanding, they get the adequate understanding across, what really happens in the insurance sector? What sort of support should they get, not just from the government now, but from the private sector, that should help them recover and continue farming? As we speak, conversations around, food security is being had. And at this point, we need all the support that we can give to farmers. So what would be your recommendation regarding that?
Well, the support I will solicit on behalf of the affected farmers starts from the land preparation. because it takes almost 30 to 40% of total cost of production. If they can get support and get their farm prepared, get support of good seed, get support of good herbicide and fertilizers, their own contribution will be labor to go back to the farm and start all over again. And that is what they call enterprise. There is no failure in any business. The only failure in any business is for you to go back and repeat. And by the time they are repeating this process, I know they will become one of the greatest farmers and they will guide against the reoccurrence of such. We are soliciting from both government again and private sectors, well-to-do people, to assist in land preparation and give them seed. If they cannot give a full seed that will take 1 hectare, at least the one that can take 1 acre, we support them with all the necessary inputs.
Okay, just before we go, would like to hear from you. What is your future outlook for the Nigerian ginger farming sector and the Nigerian agricultural sector as a whole, regarding ensuring that there is, sustainability, there is resilience amongst Nigerian farmers? But let's hear from you now. What's your outlook?
You see, Nigeria is the best country with so many non-oil products. But because we all rely on oil, we neglected areas that can give us times 2 of what oil is giving us. We are only talking of ginger today. The prospect in ginger is increasing every day. With all the ailments in the country now, which we don't pray for it to come back to Nigeria, ginger happens to be one of the source of cure. Meaning that in every household here in Nigeria, there is no household you will go to that you will not find product of ginger in their house. And how can we develop this part? Government needs to look inward and look at how we can develop the processing in country here. So that if at all we want to earn income, let's earn income from the finished products. Because having ginger farm in that capacity in the northern part of Nigeria, I'm confirming to you, this prospect is growing to the southern part of Nigeria. I know some states in the southwest that are doing it, and some states in the southeast that are very good in ginger production. I've traveled wide and range and I've seen it coming up. Therefore, I'm encouraging us, the way we are looking into the food crop, ginger belongs to tuber category of vegetable in my own classification. We should look into it. I know it's a product that takes nothing less than 8 months before it becomes big money. But what you invest, what you take as your revenue is almost 90% of your investment. Therefore, I'm encouraging us here in Nigeria to look into it. Ginger happens to be one of the crops that there is no way any animal can destroy it. You are sure of it, of having good returns on investment as a agribusiness practitioner. We are soliciting for more investors, both private and government, to encourage the production and processing of ginger, because I don't support idea of exporting our raw products. Let's add value to it. Adding value to it will give us revenue, we create more employment, and will give us food sustainability. Not for us to export it and come back and buy a product that was exported from Nigeria in another dollar way. Thank you.
Dr. Ayodeji Ajisefinni speaking to the losses that farmers have incurred due to the outbreak of the ginger blight disease. Talking about 12 billion naira has been lost by ginger farmers in the past 1 year, and he did, of course, identify some permanent solutions that can be channeled towards the sector. Thank you, Dr. Ajisefinni Ayodeji, for all the insights that you have shared on today's edition of Business Daily.
It's my pleasure.
Well, that's all that we will be taking on today's edition of the program, but keep the conversation going on social media across Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and let us hear from you. How has this impacted you, and have you been, a beneficiary of, the funds that has been allocated to farmers? And what's your level of awareness and knowledge regarding, agricultural insurance? Let's keep the conversation going, and we'll be there to respond to your comment. My name is Chiamaka Enendu. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.